Have you ever wondered what will Demon Slayer story look like if Shinobu was the main character that carrying her sister on her back? If Shinobu was the main character, she has to have her own family breathing style, and we are going to swap Doma's place with Muzan to make Doma the Demon King, and Muzan was just an upper moon too. Before we get into the video, this is a completely new storyline, but still based on logic and some lore of the original Demon Slayer. Since Shinobu was the main character, her family has to get slaughtered by Doma, the Demon King, but this time it's Demon King Doma. While Tanjiro's quirk was having a good nose, Shinobu's quirk was that she was good at mixing poison. In this story, she comes from a poison family that is able to make specific poison to kill demons. So, sassy Doma has to hunt down Shinobu's entire bloodline. When her family gets killed, 𝐏𝐫𝐽𝐽 was turned into a demon, then later they were saved by Umei. Seeing demon 𝐏𝐫𝐽𝐽 protecting her human sister like this, Umei sends them to train with a former flower hashira, Lady Kumiko. At this point, we have to create a new character as a female version of Mr. Urokodaki. She is the flower hashira and also the former master of the Butterfly Mansion. Shinobu grew up very different from the other Demon Slayer core because she was too short and too weak to decapitate demons. But she won't give up easily. She swears to turn little 𝐏𝐫𝐽𝐽 back into a human one day. So instead of cutting demon heads off, our smart girl Shinobu coats her sword with wisteria poison. At first, everyone laughs at her for using such a cheap tactic to kill demons, and she cannot master the flower breathing. But at the final selection, she ends up killing the most demons. And she also saves Sabito from getting killed, and Sabito later on will become the youngest water hashira instead of giyuu. When selecting an ore, Shinobu sees an introvert boy, giyuu, who is the love interest of Shinobu. Giyuu was basically the shy kid version of Kanao. He always hides behind Sabito. Sanemi, on the other hand, was the bully version of Genya, but since Master Kagaya's daughter was still a baby at this time, Miss Amani is the one who gives ore to them. Mitsuri was the Zenitsu version in this story, but instead of being a coward and going crazy over girls all the time, Mitsuri was a girl who was an extrovert and talked a lot. And she falls in love with every strong man she sees. Later on, Giyuu, Mitsuri, and Shinobu will become the trio of this what-if story. But for now, Shinobu goes back to her master in the Butterfly Mansion while Mitsuri walks around trying to find a strong man. Her master gives her a beautiful box to carry little 𝐏𝐫𝐽𝐽, and she also tells her that Shinobu's talent for poison might be connected to a bloodline called the poison bloodline that uses poison breathing, which is the deadliest breathing form of all time. This poison breathing was a completely new breathing style that we have to make up for Shinobu's story to progress. Yoriichi, on the other hand, still exists in this timeline and is still the first human that created breathing forms, but he never met Demon King Doma. Instead, there was a strong female swordswoman who nearly poisoned Demon King Doma to death around 400 years ago, who was the brilliant doctor and assassin that was the ancestor of Shinobu's family. One day, Shinobu was assigned on a mission to investigate the missing women in a cult during a festival. But while she was walking around and enjoying the festival, she sees a man who looks just like the demon that killed her family. He didn't even disguise himself and looked exactly like that night when he murdered her family and was living his best life. This guy tricked hundreds of people into becoming his followers and ate them out of misery. Seeing that, she gets so mad. Shinobu is about to confront Doma and expose his true colors to his followers, but when she is about to confront him, she sees a normal human walking with him while holding a baby. And she is none other than Inosuke's mom holding baby Inosuke. Demon King Doma, seeing a slayer nearby, thought he was being ambushed, so he used his claw to quickly inject blood into Inosuke's mom as a sacrificial lamb so that he could escape. Shinobu, seeing that, has no choice but to help baby Inosuke from getting eaten by his own mother. Doma's cult followers are about to attack Shinobu because she came here uninvited, but Miss Tamayo comes out and helps her using her blood demon art and saves Inosuke's mother from going wild. So that means Inosuke's mother did not die in this timeline. Instead, she is saved by Lady Tamayo and turned into a friendly demon just like her. Not only that, Inosuke in this world will be raised by Lady Tamayo and later become best friends with Yushiro. Shinobu asks Lady Tamayo if her sister will ever be human again. Lady Tamayo asks to study 𝐏𝐫𝐽𝐽's blood first. It turns out 𝐏𝐶𝐾𝐽𝐽's blood and DNA have a little trace of blue spider lily because her family were not only poison masters, they were also doctors. And when 𝐏𝐶𝐾𝐽 got a fever when she was young, her parents injected a blue spider lily medicine into her body. Even if it was just a little, that blue spider lily DNA had completely erased Demon King Doma's influence out of her body. But at this point in time, they did not know that 𝐏𝐫𝐽𝐽 was immune to sunlight yet. In this storyline, the Demon Slayer Corps accepts little 𝐏𝐽𝐽 as a good demon since the beginning because everyone trusted the stone hashira, and Sanemi hadn't become a hashira yet. But he always bullied Shinobu and tried to kill little 𝐏𝐽𝐽 every time he met her on a mission. He just hated demons and could not accept 𝐏𝐽𝐽 at all. Seeing Sanemi always bully Shinobu, Giyuu always came to help Shinobu. But he wouldn't talk to her because he was too shy. Every time Shinobu tried to look at his face, he avoided it and tried to run away from her, but she hugged him tight. Even though she hated his guts for not saying a word to her, he was the only person in the Corps that did not bully her or laugh at her lack of ability to cut demons' heads, so she wouldn't let him get away from her. Even having Giyuu by her side, one day Sanemi and his gang tried to gang up on them and used his blood to trick little demon 𝐏𝐽𝐽 into attacking him so he would have an excuse to kill her. But while he was doing that, Mitsuri jumped in for the wrong reason. Sis did not even care about Shinobu at all. She was just a creep who jumped in and hugged Sanemi and asked him to marry her. Because at this point in time, Mitsuri was still a lonely girl who wanted a strong man to marry, and of all the people similar to her age, Sanemi was the strongest of them all in her eyes, so she always stalked him and admired his strength. Seeing that Sanemi ran away and let Shinobu go for another day, Shinobu misunderstood that Mitsuri was helping her and thanked her, while Mitsuri didn't even notice Shinobu was there to begin with. But seeing Giyuu walk with Shinobu, Mitsuri asked to join their team so she could woo him later. Having extrovert Mitsuri in the trio made Giyuu want to puke. Our boy just wanted to go home and stare at the wall. While walking on the road, Mitsuri couldn't stop holding Giyuu's hand and talking to him, which made Shinobu jealous and tried to drag Giyuu away from her. While they were busy fighting over our boy Giyuu, a crow just came and gave them a mission. There was a report of people missing while playing on an island on the coast of Japan. They had sent so many Demon Slayer Corps members toward the island, but all the boats sank. They suspected that there was an underwater demon who lived underwater and drowned people to death. Shinobu, Giyuu, and Mitsuri took a boat and paddled toward that island. But while they paddled, Shinobu also released toxin into the water around their boat so any demon that came close would catch poison. And then it happened. A dead demon mermaid body just floated up to the surface while they were in the middle of the journey. It turned out these demons were mermaid demons who sank people's boats and ate them. Moments later, a boss mermaid appeared and sank their boat. Seeing that, Giyuu jumped off the boat and used water-breathing ninth form splashing water flow, Turbulent, to run on the water and cut down a bunch of mermaid demons and tell Shinobu and Mitsuri to swim toward the island. On the island, there were many Demon Slayer swords and pieces of cloth, which meant demons had killed and eaten many of the Corps members. Seeing that, Shinobu started to lock in. The island was not that big, and there were only one demons who were allowed to live on the island, which was the old Lower Moon 2, a female mermaid demon who lived as the Queen of the Mermaids. This was also a new demon character that we have to create for our main character Shinobu to shine. Her minions started to come out from the water and jump onto the island to help their queen, but Giyuu and Mitsuri took each side of the island and fought off those low-life demons. Shinobu swung toward the Lower Moon 2, using her bee-sting breathing form and moved so fast that she injected a lot of poison into the demon. But the demon just spit the poison out because it was a mermaid demon. Its body was mostly made of water, and it could control any type of liquid injected into its body. Shinobu tried to chop her head off, but her hands were too weak, so she got flung away by the demon. Sensing her sister was hurt, little 𝐏𝐽𝐽 came out from the box and kicked the crap out of the Lower Moon demon. 𝐏𝐽𝐽 made an opening for Shinobu to cut its head, but Shinobu shook her head because she was not confident that she could cut any demon's head. The demon jumped toward the depressed Shinobu and was about to claw her head off, but our boy Giyuu, being a hero, came to save her with his own hands. Then he gave her a pep talk while still shy and shaky at the same time. He said she was the most talented demon slayer that he had ever known. Nobody understood this much knowledge of poison at such a young age like her, and then he also said she was his idol and that he wanted to be smart like her. Hearing that, Shinobu snapped out of it and crafted a new poison on the spot while the two of them fenced off the Lower Moon 2, while Mitsuri still ran around the island fighting the low-life demons. When fighting for a while, the mermaid caught 𝐏𝐽𝐽 and was about to eat her. But when she ate 𝐏𝐽𝐽, Shinobu threw a new poison bottle that she had just crafted onto the demon's tail. When the poison touched the demon's skin, it started to melt rapidly and made the Lower Moon 2's blood and body boil into mist until its entire body was completely gone. It turned out it was not even poison at all. It was just a chemical. Shinobu later explained that since the demon's body was mostly made out of water, she just mixed strong bases, acids, and active metals together and let the demon absorb it so the water in its body would react rapidly. But it only worked on this specific type of demon. Giyuu, hearing that, thought Shinobu was so smart and praised her, but he was still shy and didn't look at her face. Shinobu blushed and thought at least it was progress. Even if this boy was still shy, he was her type. Then she fainted. Later, she woke up in the butterfly mansion. She looked to her left and saw Giyuu sitting there sleeping and watching over her the entire night, which made her happy. On the other bed was Mitsuri, who had injured her head by fending off those demons and broke her sword. Seeing the opportunity, Shinobu leaned in and was about to sneak in a little kiss on Giyuu's cheek, but it got interrupted by Mitsuri, who had just had a nightmare about her idiot ex rejecting her marriage because she was too strong. She screamed so loud, but our boy Giyuu still didn't wake up. But in reality, our boy Giyuu was awake the entire time. He just didn't want to embarrass Shinobu, who was trying to sneak a kiss on him. Later on, Mitsuri left the group to craft a perfect new sword for herself, which was that long sword in the original story. When Mitsuri goes to the swordsmith village, a wild Obanai also follows her along because he has a crush on her. Seeing Mitsuri leaving the group like this, Shinobu pretended to still be sick and made Giyuu take care of her so that they could get even closer while Mitsuri was gone. But her teacher saw through her trick and punished her by making her train with him instead, which she was not complaining about at all. While they were training, Sabito broke into the butterfly mansion and came to brag about good news. He and the other new character named Umei had just defeated 2 lower moons on a mission together, and now both of them had just gotten promoted into hashira because there were 2 free spots. Giyuu was so happy that his best friend had just become a hashira, so both of them asked the master to go back and visit Mr. Urokodaki and deliver the good news to him. Shinobu wanted to come with Giyuu, but Giyuu refused. He said this was a teacher and student special moment and Shinobu had nothing to do with it. Giyuu tried to sneak out at night so Shinobu wouldn't follow him, but Shinobu was sleeping in front of his bedroom door to prevent him from leaving her alone. But our boy just jumped out the window and took off. When morning came, Shinobu was so mad and stormed off to training, but she ran into a newly promoted hashira called Umei. Shinobu was curious why the new hashira looked very similar to her family. Later that night, the flower hashira recommended her to join a mission with the new hashira. She said that the new hashira used venom breathing technique, which was a breathing style rumored to be a branch-out version of poison breathing, so she might be a long-line relative of Shinobu. Umei was a newly promoted hashira for killing a lower moon on a mission with Sabito, and now she had been tasked with a mission of investigating a group of politicians who only traveled through train at night. The master suspected that some of those guys might be demons. He recommended putting wisteria in their food, and if one of them got poisoned, they must be a demon. When Shinobu was at a train station alone and about to cry that her teammate was not there with her, Mitsuri and Obanai came back. Mitsuri said she wouldn't trust her to go on a mission alone, so she dragged a random Obanai boy with her. He was her new boyfriend. Shinobu was shocked that Mitsuri changed crushes every time she saw someone, but at least this time it was not her Giyuu. All of them jumped on a train and pretended to be passengers, while the Venom Hashira pretended to be a maid, serving food to all those politicians mixed with wisteria flour. But before she served food to them, she saw a bunch of brats who were following her on a mission, so she sat down and scolded them and told them not to ruin her plan. Then Shinobu asked if her last name was also Kocho. The Venom Hashira asked back, "Where do you know that name from?" Shinobu wasted no time and asked if she knew about poison breathing. Umei told her that poison breathing was a rare technique that used many types of rare plants to kill demons, and one of them was a blue flower that was hard to find, which was the blue spider lily. So her family did inherit the swordsman style, but they didn't get all of the secret poison information. So instead, Umei's family used venom from many types of snakes. Hearing that, Shinobu got excited because she also used animal venom on her sword too. But instead of snakes, she used insects like bees and centipede venom. Umei told her, "Why not learn venom breathing from me? I will teach you all about normal snake venom that is easier to find." After done joking around, Umei started serving food to all those politicians, but one of them refused to eat anything. And that one person was none other than that goddamn Muzan himself, the Upper Moon 2 in this storyline. He had killed off a random politician and pretended to be them. Seeing that, the Venom Hashira started getting suspicious, but suddenly all of them started falling asleep because they had been clipping tickets that were embedded with Enmu's blood demon art, which made all of them fall asleep. But since a lot of important people were on the train right now, Muzan could not kill them yet. He asked 𝐿 to fake that the train had some issue and make everyone get off the train at the next station. And now, there were only Muzan and 𝐿 on the train. There was nowhere for the hashira and our main characters to run. Muzan was about to eat them whole, but suddenly, a raw Pokemon appeared out of the box. It was none other than little Kocho. She kicked the crap out of Muzan and 𝐿. She also used her Poison Blood Demon art to make them stunned for a few minutes while she tried to wake everyone up. When they were about to break free, Shinobu woke up and hit them with a secondary poison from a scorpion that made the demon's eyes blurry. Shinobu injected a dose of serum that could wake people up from sleep into them. The Venom Hashira woke up and cut down one tentacle of Muzan. She was doing this to estimate how fast he regenerated. The Venom Hashira had a special ability that could evaluate which demons were upper moons or lower moons based on their regenerative ability. Seeing Muzan's regenerative capability, she knew that they were all going to die. So instead of letting all of them fight Muzan, she pushed herself and Muzan off the train while Muzan's eyes were still blurry from the poison. She said to them that the demon inside the head of the train was at least a lower moon, so be careful. She would be back, and they shouldn't worry about her. After pushing Muzan off, Muzan knew exactly what was going on. She was trying to sacrifice herself and let all of them get away. He praised her and said that she was very smart. She replied, "Let me guess, you are one of the upper moons? Based on your speed, you are at least among the top 3 upper moons, am I right?" Muzan was so impressed that he showed the number on his eyes and said he liked smart people. "Smart people like you are meant to be used by me. Would you like to join me as my secretary by becoming a demon?" The Venom Hashira spat on the ground and said, "This is my answer to your request," which made Muzan's face stop smirking. He then released his blood demon art, Blood Veins, on her, but she melted all the blood veins by releasing poison mist into the air. However, she knew that soon enough she was going to run out of poison materials and would have to fight him directly, which would be the end of her. On the other hand, Shinobu injected as much poison as possible into the train walls, which made 𝐿 stunned and unable to move. Mitsuri and Obanai ran toward the train head, while Kanai Kocho protected her sister from demon arms while she crafted new poison. A train operator who sided with demons stabbed Shinobu in the back, which made Kanai Kocho try to claw him to death, but Shinobu prevented her. Obanai used serpent breathing to crack the train, and Mitsuri jumped high up into the air and released her new breathing that she had just invented called Love Breathing 5th Form and chopped the shit out of 𝐿, making him die on the spot. The train was crushed and spilled them all out of the train. Shinobu was injured and couldn't run, but she gave them a new poison that was strong enough to blind Muzan completely, which would make him unable to run back into the forest if they had to fight him until sunrise. Obanai threw the poison to a crow and told it to deliver it to the Venom Hashira first, and they would run toward her later. While the crow arrived, the Venom Hashira was already in bad shape, and she had also run out of poison. The only thing she could do was block the attacks from Muzan. The crow threw the blind poison to her, and the crow shouted that help would come soon. Hearing that, Umei was not happy, because if Shinobu and her friends came to help her, they would all die. So she released her fastest breathing technique, Venom Breathing 7th Form, Black Mamba. She burst out in the fastest snake form and injected Muzan with a blind poison, making him unable to see anything except darkness. She tried to decapitate him, but his head just grew back like it was nothing. Muzan tried to generate new eyes, but he was still seeing darkness. He questioned angrily and said, "What kind of stupid poison can blind a demon like this?" Then his cell memory had a flashback of Master Doma's memory. Doma used to get poisoned and was nearly killed by a strong swordswoman who used poison like this too. He realized he had to kill all these poison users tonight to please his master Doma, but the sun was not on his side. The morning sun started to come out and made him start burning. Muzan freaked out and tried to run in a random direction, which was toward a random village. But he got pushed back by Umei. She could run away right now since he was blind, but if she ran away, those random villagers would get killed. So she put all her strength into pushing him back. At that moment, Shinobu and the others arrived and saw the horrible shape Umei was in and were about to jump in to help. But Muzan was in a panic and started to dig a hole and push his body into the ground with the Venom Hashira. The Venom Hashira shouted one last word to Shinobu that she was proud of her and that there was a book mentioning poison breathing in her house and Shinobu should go take it. And then she got crushed to death and dragged along with a panicked Muzan. Shinobu tried to run into the hole following them, but Mitsuri and Obanai prevented her because the roof of dirt would crush them to death. While they were all grieving the Venom Hashira's death, suddenly they remembered that 𝐏𝐫𝐽𝐽 was also up and the sun was rising. Shinobu freaked out and could not find her. She thought 𝐏𝐫𝐽𝐽 had burned to death in the sunlight. But then 𝐏𝐫𝐽𝐽 walked directly toward them and said, "Good morning." It turned out 𝐏𝐫𝐽𝐽 was immune to sunlight and didn't get burned even a tiny bit, and now she was able to speak some words. She hugged her sister and thanked the Venom Hashira for sacrificing herself to protect them. The crow delivered the news to everyone, which made Sabato shocked. They had just become hashira together and now she was gone. Giyuu blamed himself for not coming with them. After they went back to the base, everyone was on edge because now they had a sunlight immune demon in their hands to take care of. When Muzan got back to Doma's place, Doma injected new blood cells into him and healed his eyes, making him able to see again. But his body was still a blob from all those sunburns. When his body started to heal and get smaller, they realized that the Venom Hashira had been stuck with Muzan the whole time, and she was still breathing. Even with broken bones, the Venom Hashira still held her sword and pointed it at Doma. Doma was impressed by how strong she was and told her that he would force her to become a demon and make her kill all of the poison bloodline with her own hands. The Venom Hashira spit on his face and told him to go to hell. Then she unleashed one of the strongest venom breathing techniques, 9th form, King Cobra. The storm of venom stunned both Doma and Muzan, sending them crashing to the ground. Even with broken bones, she slowly walked toward Doma, stepped on his face, and said, "This is what you get for hunting my bloodline." But when she about to finish him off, something happened. She couldn't move, and her arm began to freeze. Turn out, when he touched her shoulder earlier, he had already injected a tiny droplet of his ice into her wound. Doma smiled and injected a large amount of blood into her and erased all of her memories about her life. Back at the base, Shinobu opened her eyes and saw Giyuu sitting by her side again. But this time, he held her hand tightly because he blamed himself for not coming with her on that mission. Shinobu broke into loud crying and hugged him tightly. She blamed herself for Umei's death. If only she could craft a poison strong enough to kill Muzan right then and there, her death would not have been meaningless. Giyuu shushed her and told her that Umei's death was not meaningless. Without her, he would not be able to see Shinobu again, so he was very grateful, and all the people were grateful. She did her duty and protected everyone. Now that the Venom Hashira was dead and Rengoku's father had retired because he drank all day, 2 new Hashira were promoted, which were Rengoku and Tengen. Mitsuri and Obanai haven't been promoted yet because they defeated a lower moon together with Shinobu help, so it doesn't count yet. Everyone expected Rengoku to be promoted a long time ago because he was so talented, but what everyone was shocked about was that this new Sound Hashira already had 3 wives. The master asked Tengen to investigate and spy on every cult across Japan because based on Shinobu's information, the Demon King Doma had disguised himself as a cult leader. So in this story, Tengen was tasked with investigating the cult instead of the entertainment district. On the other hand, Shinobu traveled to Umei's house to deliver the sad news to them and ask for the book. She was in tears when she saw her room. Her room was full of books and experiments. It was all full of hard work and determination because it was full of Umei's handwriting on top of the original text. It proved that Umei was just like Shinobu. She worked very hard to craft all these new poison techniques on her own. Shinobu saw herself in Umei and was inspired to become smarter and more creative like her. Shinobu said goodbye to Umei's little sister and told her that she was a long-lost relative. She promised that she would avenge Umei's death and kill that demon one day. A few years have passed since Umei's death. Shinobu has created and perfected her own insect breathing, inspired by the poison breathing book that Umei gave her. She also started wearing a haori that had the same pattern as Umei's. Our main character started getting more mature, and the Hashira now began to look like the Hashira from the original story. The only exception was Muchiro, who still hadn't become a Hashira yet, so his spot belonged to Sabato. Since 2 demon slayers with the same breathing style cannot become Hashira at the same time, Giyuu extended his 11th form to create a completely new breathing style called silent breathing, which allowed him to move so silently that demons couldn't hear him coming. Tengen was asked to meet with the master and deliver a very important mission. He had sent his wives to spy in many cults across Japan, and there was one cult whose leader never came out during the day, and the entire cult only accepted women and close followers, which was the exact type of thing that Demon King Doma would do because he only ate women. When Shinobu found out that the Demon Slayer Corps had secretly made a big ambush plan on Doma's castle, She asked the master directly to bring Miss Tamayo into the Demon Slayer Corps and do research with her, because she alone could not create a strong enough poison to kill Doma, but Miss Tamayo might be able to make a different kind of drug that could turn Doma into a human. The master agreed. Miss Tamayo was escorted by the stone hashira himself. He was the only one Shinobu trusted to handle friendly demons. When they arrived at the Demon Slayer Corps, Miss Tamayo not only came with Yushiro, but in this story, she also brought Inosuke's mom and toddler Inosuke with her. Now they had 4 friendly demons living inside the Butterfly Mansion. At that time, Shinobu also found toddler Kanao and brought her into the Corps to take care of her. Seeing Shinobu becoming an adult and taking so much responsibility like this, her master was at ease and had a talk with her. She said she would entrust the Butterfly Mansion to Shinobu to take care of. Then she takes off her mask and reveals that she is related to Master Kaguya. Sometimes, though very rarely, a woman in this bloodline can also have the same curse, which causes them to grow weak and die young. She would retire and go visit her family and make Shinobu a hashira. She trusted that Shinobu would manage things better than her. Now that Shinobu's master had retired, every responsibility in the Butterfly Mansion fell on her. Everyone always came to her when they needed something, which made her stressed. Even going on dates with Giyuu would not make her stress go away. She was stressed that she could not create a strong enough poison, and now she had to be mature and take care of some toddlers. What Shinobu needed was a trusted adult, a mother figure after her master. Seeing that, Miss Tamayo immediately knew what Shinobu needed. She gave her a warm hug and said, "It's okay, you're doing great, we're all proud of you." Which made our baby girl Shinobu start sobbing because since her family died and Kane Kocho turned into a toddler, Shinobu had become a big sister and taken on so much responsibility on her shoulders. But now she had a new mother figure who was technically a demon, but she loved her nonetheless. The rest of the hashira trained hard and prepared for the war ahead. And then the day had come, the day that the Demon Slayer Corps ambushed the Demon King's cult. The rest of the hashira sneaked into the castle and prepared to attack him with all they got. Doma knew immediately the moment they stepped foot inside the castle, but he let them in. Doma thought that they could not attack him while a bunch of humans were still inside the castle, but what Doma didn't know was that all these women had been replaced by female Demon Slayer Corps members. None of them were civilians. It was all thanks to Inosuke's mother, who used to live with Doma and knew exactly how Doma's cult recruited new members. While Doma started to eat his original followers one by one every day, they started replacing the new ones with female Demon Slayer Corps members. And of course, some of them got eaten by Doma, but each one of them had injected themselves with a small amount of human serum that was created by Miss Tamayo. He didn't know that he had been injecting himself with human serum bit by bit every day and slowly turning himself into a human. That was why Doma was aging very fast, and he didn't know why. He just kept replacing his old skin with a new one whenever he got old. The stone hashira walked into his room menacingly and told him that this was his end. Doma smiled and said, "Are you sure that you are not walking into your own grave?" He raised his hand up and flicked a finger for Nakime to drop all of them into the Infinity Castle, but the doors opened randomly and missed all the hashira because Shinobu had just injected a poison drug into the walls, which made Nakime drunk and unable to focus her portals properly. It was all because Miss Tamayo told them about the Diva's blood demon art. Nakime was still drunk and thought she was helping Doma, but she was not. She just kept opening random holes everywhere. Some demon slayers got dropped, but some did not. Seeing that, Doma tried to freeze the stone hashira to death, but all of his ice melted away from Tengen's ninja bombs that were thrown by his 3 wives, who had been pretending to be cult followers sitting near him the whole time. Then, Lady Tamayo throws Inosuke's mother's blood demon art at him, releasing sharp blue ice that pins him in one place. She saw the opportunity and injected her human serum into him. If he moved or absorbed her, he would turn into a human. Doma was impressed that the demon slayers thought so far ahead like this. He had underestimated them. Now all of the hashira were standing everywhere in the castle waiting to hunt him down if he escaped, not to mention that this was daytime. He couldn't even escape out of this castle, and their drunk demon Nakime kept opening the wrong holes, which made her unable to drop Doma into the Infinity Castle. Thinking quickly, there was only one way to get out of this situation. He lifted his hand up, and it only took one flick to kill Nakime. Then he froze himself with very thick ice and flung the hashira away from him. The horrible part was that when Nakime died, all of the upper moon demons and thousands of demons were spit out of the Infinity Castle into the real world, onto random villages and cities. And before Doma froze himself, he told them exactly where each upper moon was being spit out, hoping the demon slayers would go kill the upper moons first before the upper moons committed mass murder on civilians. Then he froze himself to absolute zero together with Miss Tamayo, and a big crack opened below them. It turned out that ever since Muzan dug that big hole to escape, he had developed a new blood demon art that made him able to transform dirt into part of his body and create a huge secret base under Doma's castle. And now they had to fight him underground because the castle had just crumbled when Nakime died. Demon King Doma told them exactly where each upper moon was spit out, and he also told them that if they kept them roaming free long enough until nighttime came, all the upper moon demons would come out and commit mass murder all over Japan. Seeing that Doma hasn't frozen his head yet, Shinobu uses her insect-breathing tiger beetle and flies toward Doma at incredible speed, stabbing him in the eye. Suddenly, a giant black snake bursts out of the ground and knocks Shinobu away from Doma. The one riding that snake is none other than Umei. She has not only been brainwashed into becoming a demon, but has also been promoted to Upper Moon 3, meaning she has surpassed Akaza in rank. Kokushibo and Muzan stand beside her and dedicate their lives to protecting Master Doma at all costs. But at the same time, Lower Moon 1, which was Daki and Gyutaro in this story, was spit out inside the entertainment district. Since Akaza had been knocked down to Upper Moon 4, every other Upper Moon was knocked down a rank too. Gyoko, the Upper Moon 6, was spit out nearby the Butterfly Mansion to try to capture Kanekocho. It turned out Doma knew about Kanekocho being immune to sunlight, but since Doma was not an obsessive freak like Muzan, he didn't care as much or freak out over the blue spider lily or a sunlight immune demon before. He usually only cared about killing the Poison family, but since they were already in the final battle, Kanekocho might be the only thing that could make Demon King Doma escape this ambush by eating her and becoming immortal. Hantengu, the Upper Moon 5, on the other hand, was sent to the Swordsmith village to try to destroy the source behind the Demon Slayer's strength, and Akaza, the Upper Moon 4, would be waiting to kill all the passengers inside the Mugen train. And lastly, the top 3 Upper Moons would stay behind to protect Doma until Gyoko kidnapped Kanekocho and sent her here. So, this was a battle against time. Either Gyoko failed to kidnap little Kocho, or Doma dragged this battle on long enough until he could eat little Kocho. Hearing that, the stone Hashira didn't believe him at first, but he couldn't risk a mass civilian murder either. If what Doma said was true, they had to act now before it was too late since it was still daytime. In the meantime, the ice around Demon King Doma kept getting thicker and sank deeper into the underground base using Muzan's blood demon art. While that happened, the other Hashira and demon slayers were sent toward each location where the upper moons would appear. Since each location was far apart from Doma's castle, it would take them until nighttime to reach them. Mitsuri and Obanai were sent to the Swordsmith village to defeat Hantengu, the Upper Moon 5. Our boy Rengoku, the Flame Hashira, was sent alone to defeat Upper Moon 4 Akaza on the Mugen train. Tengen was sent to defeat Daki and Gyutaro. The Stone Hashira and Sanemi were dealing with Kokushibo, while Giyuu and Sabito were fighting Muzan. That left Shinobu and Yushiro to deal with Umei, the Venom Hashira, because it was personal for Shinobu. Our girl Shinobu, who stood there stunned, unable to think straight after seeing Umei, the Venom Hashira, now standing before her as Upper Moon 3. Shinobu tried to reach out and told her that she read the book and perfected her insect breathing thanks to Umei's research. I did it all for you. Please come back to us. This is not you. While she was talking, Umei released her blood demon art, Slender Garter, and nearly bit Shinobu's ass, but she got saved by Yushiro. Yushiro snapped her out of it and told her that that was not Umei. Wake up. She is an Upper Moon. If you really want to save her, kill her and release her from this nightmare. Since Muzan was busy using his blood demon art to maintain the underground base, it only takes Giyuu and Sabito to distract him from harming the others. Giyuu uses his new silent breathing 13th form, Silent Footstep, to walk around Muzan, making him unable to focus and keeping him on edge, which creates an opportunity for Sabito to strike Muzan from time to time. Sanemi and the Stone Hashira, on the other hand, have a hard time dealing with the deadly moon breathing, but they have to push forward as close to Doma as possible to save Ms. Tamayo from the ice. But it's too late. Ms. Tamayo was completely frozen and broke apart, which means she's dead. Seeing that, Shinobu starts to lock in, because she just lost one of her mother figures. She lost 2 of her big sisters already, her teacher left her, and now even her last mother figure was taken away from her. We can tell by her face that she is not taking this well. Suddenly, she snaps and does her badass stance, looks directly into Umei's eyes, Shinobu admitted it was her fault Umei had become like this because she had been too weak, but now she had finally become strong enough to save her. Shinobu unleashed insect breathing, 100-leg zigzag, and rushed toward Umei. In response, Upper Moon 3 released Blood Demon art, Reticulated Python, creating a massive python from her blood. Using her light, agile body, Shinobu effortlessly dodged every snakehead attack and unleashed insect breathing. Praying mantis style, inspired by one of the few insects known to kill snakes. She drew an extra sword knife while 2 more blades extended from her shoes, allowing her to block every incoming bite. The Venom Hashira broke down in tears. It was as if she was proud of Shinobu, but her memories were sealed, preventing her from remembering who she truly was. Seeing that, Shinobu looked away and said, "You're not my Umei anymore. I won't be fooled by you." She unleashed insect breathing, dragonfly sting, moving at incredible speed as she attempted to inject poison into Umei. But the Venom Hashira countered with Blood Demon art, Black Mamba, the fastest snake of them all. Both attacks were so fast that even Yushiro couldn't follow them. In the end, the Venom Hashira lost. Not because she was weaker, but because she dropped her sword in the middle of the fight. That could only mean one thing. Deep down, she still remembered Shinobu. Seeing this, Yushiro suggested injecting her with the human serum. If she was truly still alive inside, it was worth trying. The two of them injected the human serum along with a cure serum made from every poison they had created. But instead of turning back into a human, the Venom Hashira suddenly awakened. Her eyes sharpened like a snake's. She leaped high into the air before diving back toward them. However, instead of attacking, she landed and killed several demons that were trying to bite them from below. It turned out the human serum wasn't perfect. Rather than turning her back into a human, it restored all of her memories and freed her from Doma's control. They had just gained a new demon ally. Umei slowly walked over to Shinobu and gently patted her on the head. She told her she was proud of her. Shinobu had finally become faster than she was. Shinobu embraced her and cried uncontrollably. She had finally done something right. She had saved Umei, and that gave her hope that she might still be able to save little Kocho as well. But at that moment, Umei's body started getting hotter, and a Demon Slayer mark appeared on her face. She and Shinobu immediately realized the same thing. In the Poison Breathing book, it said that a Demon Slayer mark only appears when the temperature is just right, and it will cause a chain event. It turned out that the human serum and the poison they had just injected into Umei gave her the right temperature to unlock the Demon Slayer mark. Knowing this, they realized what they needed to do. They used Yushiro's invisible power to inject all the hashira with the drug, allowing each of them to unlock the Demon Slayer mark. At that moment, Shinobu's hair started to turn white, and a purple poison mark also appeared on her face, which gave Umei and Shinobu a huge boost in speed and strength. Doma finally wakes up from the ice and sees that his upper moon is starting to lose. He used Blood Demon art 1000 ice needles and was about to stab everyone to death with his mini ice needles. But suddenly, all of them got blocked by Umei's Blood Demon art. She generated thousands of snake demons and protected everyone from getting stabbed. They waste no time. Both of them say at the same time, Poison Breathing Deadly Nightshade, which allows the user to see through and target the important parts of a demon's body and inject a lethal amount of poison into the right spot. Umei used her Blood Demon art to wrap Doma around with her snakes, while Shinobu injected him with the strongest poison she had ever created using insect breathing, cicada killer wasp, and stabbed Doma through the eyes. Both the human serum and the strongest poison combined made him unable to regenerate fast enough, and the poison finally melted him down to the last cell. Muzan, Kokushibo, and the other upper moons like Akaza also disappeared, which saved Rengoku from getting donut punched again. Everyone survived. Both Shinobu's big sister Umei and Kane Kocho finally became human again. On the other hand, Tanjiro and Nezuko lived happily with their family without getting slaughtered.